Kristin, your turn now to wrap the session.
Let me wrap this up. Thank you very much. It was a really great presentation so far. So what you're receiving from me is just also a snapshot on like picking up some of the great insights that we have seen and like how to put this even more into like a retail marketing perspective. Yeah, so we heard a lot about the shift in consumer behavior and the existing desire for more personal and individual experiences. We've heard about like this very messy customer journey that we are encountering at current. Yeah, so I think it is very clear that when it comes to retail models or go-to-market strategy, that there certainly is not a one-size-fits-all anymore, in particular not if we're looking on a global scale as well and the differences within each market. Yeah, so what we believe is very important to us and going forward is that people, organizations, and OEMs cannot act in silos anymore. It is about like bringing everything together. And for that, you certainly require a solid data infrastructure. You require measurement capabilities actually in place. And only with that you can actually only reap the advantages of AI coming into place. So once this foundation actually has been laid, this is where you will reach a point where every customer is going to bring you insights to find the next customer. And this certainly is like where organizations want to be heading to. So why is digital maturity really, really important? And again, not just an OEM level, but we're looking at the entire network here, is because we do see business outcomes. There is increase in revenue, there is cost saving attached to it, and also doubling the likelihood of market share growth. And one point that's really close to me always is actually that it cannot be left out that we're in a time of asset abundance. So we've always come from having too little assets to actually work with, in particular when we're looking at lower funnel. So it used to be, in my world, still very common that OEM would produce beautiful TVCs. Yeah, these would be broken down often to be used like on lower funnel and lead conversion communication. Yeah, then CGI moved into play. It actually got a bit cheaper. This is how the entirety of DCO also evolved. But what we're seeing now is that there is a plethora of self-servicing tools out there. This means anybody at their fingertips can create assets very quickly. This is even more so important that you safeguard your brand early. So having a framework established now to ensure that your brand can be presented within these parameters is more important than ever. It is from fragmented data, and Kristin picked up on that a lot before, yeah, to also ensuring qualities. And here just my point again, that it's not just about an OEM audience and like, you know, trying to stitch together legacy systems, but it really is about bringing the entire network together. You cannot afford to act in silos on this anymore. There is data that can be found on like different parts of the businesses, and it's really important and key to bring this together if you want to keep being successful into the future with your entire marketing activities. And last but not least, one thing that we encounter very often is like, how am I going to optimize a zillion different regional marketing plans on a monthly basis? Because this is simply what needs to happen. Yeah. This cannot be done in silos again. So like you can scale, but it's not just about clicks anymore. It is almost not even just about leads anymore, but we're certainly moving into an age where it is about ROI and LTV. And you need to leverage platforms and tools and AI if you want to be successful in this. So this was Trying to Stick. We're 5 minutes over. I would like to thank everybody a lot. It was very quick. We're very happy to take more questions as well. There is one, so let me read that out. What is your take on the current problem that we OEMs tend to have? We have been using many systems over the years for sales, some for service, we have some for marketing, etc. They talk to each other, but they don't really integrate. How do we prepare for this future? Where to start? I would also answer that. Hervé.
Yeah, and I was wondering if, Olivier, you want to maybe go back to what you've put in place with this big centralized cloud servicing that allows effectively to use those data for your company.
Yes, indeed. but true to say that for Aston Martin, I'm quite lucky because we are a small company. So we don't have the complexity that you can have with like big OEMs or within big groups with different brands. So the setup for me is a bit more, it's simpler than for any other big car maker. But I used to see within the Renault group how things could have been done, and even if your systems are talking together with some dedicated tools like a cloud solution, like what Google can propose, but also some others, will be, I think, the way to go. And with this kind of solution in place, this is where you can use the already existing and preset AI tools that are designed in order to make sure that systems will talk together and that data will be better used at the end. So it is not an element of getting rid of your existing systems, but really to have this connector between the systems through the cloud solution with those existing intelligent tools to make your data talking.
Maybe just two thoughts from my end here. I mean, the first one is you probably already, I see a lot of companies that sit on a lot of data and it just fail to activate it. And this for me has two things. And I think there are two barriers to activation. The first one is lack of focus on what the really big use cases are. What of all of that data you're sitting, and maybe when you need a bit of effort to bring it together, it's really driving your use case. What of this data is really moving your P&L at the end of the day, and to really think hard about this. The second is also that you may have a lot of data, but you may not be managing consent. So also making sure that you have a consent. So for example, if you track what happened on your website, you track what happens in the dealer, but only the dealer connects the consent from the customer. Can you then use the data you tracked on your website without a integrated consent management behind? So the one thing is, can you actually legally use it? But the other thing is also, there's a lot of creating almost like the biggest data lakes in the world or whatever. But I would also really think hard about what are the use cases, and then focus on really making this data actionable.
Yeah, it's very much a journey that resonates, because indeed, the question, the person asking the question is completely right. The legacy system and the pain that comes with integrating or fusioning, those systems together, if not replacing them by better systems, it comes with a lot of pain. But indeed, it's doable. I mean, I can see that in Nissan, for example, it's happening. The way we mine data, both from a CRM perspective as well as from a shopping behavior perspective through, website data and all that, has changed tremendously for the past few years. So, it's always too slow compared to what you would like to achieve. But, back to Kristin's point, we are actually, doing what Kristin just recommended, the use cases. So prioritizing, where are the low-hanging fruits, but also, the most profitable cases that will actually have an impact on, whether it's trying to drive sales or whether it's trying to drive customization, customer understanding, that sort of thing. So it's happening, but probably slower than we would all like it to see.
Thank you for that. I think those were all very good answers. We have one more question that I'd like to take, and then I think we're soon, but we'll be wrapping it up. So I know we've covered car customization, but do you think a company can increase their perceived brand value, being able to charge higher margins by customizing communication to their customers? So see there's people paying more for their tailor or barber because they're receiving a personalized service. I think, Olivier, you mentioned before, yes, you are customizing and you are certainly having better margins on the back of that. So,
in short, the answer is yes, by far. And what you are mentioning here for the barber example is, I think we have all experienced some elements like that, where the more the personalized is the approach, the the better you feel about the brand, and because you've been recognized as a customer. I remember once I went to an hotel, and when I parked in front of the entrance of the hotel, they opened the door to me and they said, "Welcome, Mr. Suchard." I had never went to the hotel before. I'm still today wondering how they were knowing it was me. So it was ultra personalized, and all the approach was ultra personalized, and I was valuing that a lot. It is also very, as you can imagine, valid for Aston Martin, but aside from a luxury brand, it's valid for everything. The more you are considered and treated as a customer with your respective needs, and also very valid with all these different generations now related to what Raphael was saying, the better your perception of the brand is really. Either you are treated like everybody, and well, this is maybe not what you expect, or you are treated with what you would need, or we can create a need for that, but at least with what you would expect, and then the story begins with the brand and between the brand and customers. That is an absolute must. And again, thanks to all the data that now we have available, building the right use cases, as Kristin was saying, this is where you can make the most of it and increase the brand perception.
And I guess the brand value perception, and Kristin, I think is for you how effectively we can better be on using VBB, and because this is for me one of the key elements on trying to effectively address what delivers value for the customers, but what delivers value also for the brands, correct?
Yeah, and I think for me the thing is also thinking about again, how do you tell the AI that's built into all the tools you use to reach out to customers that it's been successful in improving your brand value, or that it's been successful in generating more profitable sales? I think that's also the thing about, can you get a list, or can it learn on what really your most high profitable lifetime value customers are? Yes, and all these functions are being built in, but it needs to have a feedback, and it needs to be told by you've been successful, this was increasing my profitability, or this was not, because else it cannot learn to serve your profitability better. Or you can say, this was successful because my brand value, or my brand score and all of these went up. And we do have also part of these metrics built into, for example, the YouTube platform that can give you these type of reports. So partly the tools can do this, but a lot of these things, particularly the closer it gets to your profitability, your margins, your lifetime value, the more you need to think about what are data sets. So for example, do you have a list of, in a privacy safe way, of your 10,000 most profitable customers, so the AI can learn on finding people with a similar profile and similar behavior out there, and all of these things. So I think it comes very much to training the system also.
Thank you, Kristin. Thank you, everyone. If 2 more minutes, there's been a question about what Cartelux actually does on this end, and how we bring AI and data future and all of that together. Like, how is it happening with Cartelux? What do we actually do on this end?
Yeah. So the first answer is contact us, so we can show you what we do. But in a very large way, yes, the AI has been taken seriously from a Cartelux angle, and we are also using what partners such Google are placing. And no way to tackle that is to automatize everything for the OEMs and the dealers, so they can save time and money. So if we take the example of PMax, or all the Google products, which are somehow complex to build for all single dealers or group of dealers, with the platform Cartelux, we are simplifying that process and creating ads we used to say in just 60 seconds. It's a bit exaggerating, it's maybe 2 minutes, but basically you can effectively build ad at scales across a different range of network, and that effectively simplify, and then you get all the analytics through the platform. So the AI help us to automatize most of the work and be efficient and be able to effectively propose a platform that is adding value to our customers. So I think Olivier is a testament of what we've been able to do, but there is much more other OEMs also that are using our services, whether they are in Southeast Asia, in the US, or obviously in Europe.
Thank you for that.